Hey you guys, what's up? This is Fabio Hart coming back with another video. What I want to talk about in this video is it's like a little story time. So I'm gonna tell you about I call it my Don Lapre phase, right? So if you guys don't know Don Lapre was a infomercial guru back in the late '90s, early 2000s, and he had this package called uh, the money making package, right? Uh, and then down the line, he did away with that company, and he had the greatest vitamins in the world. Okay, so here's the thing, right? I think I gave you guys my story about Don Lapre some time ago, or whatever. He was before he committed suicide. I had the opportunity to go out to Phoenix. I had the opportunity to work with him to see the behind the scenes way of doing infomercials, and I learned about media buying service and a lot of stuff from back then, right? And my goal was to, have him mentor me. I tell you, like his video, his infomercial was so compelling that once I ordered the package, even though I had the course, I would still stay up night after night watching the infomercial. So my first business I started was the home-based business with the Making Money package. I was still in high school. I think it was like my last year, something like that. Yeah, I think it was like my last year. So I ordered the Making Money package. It did not work for me. It was terrible, right? One, because I read everything and I applied pressure. I did what he said to do, but I just didn't understand business as a whole. I didn't understand marketing. I just didn't understand how to drive customers. The internet wasn't popular at that point, right? So, it was okay, but it wasn't as popular as it is today. A lot of social media platforms wasn't even created, at that point. So, but anyway, so I ordered the Making Money package. And my thing was, I'm like, if Don could do this, I can do this. And he really gets you excited. How I made $50,000 week after week out of my one bedroom apartment, yada, 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 placing ads in the newspaper, so forth and so forth. So I took that same model, I placed ads in newspapers. I did not get the results. And I worked for the entire year, and I was able to sell, I found a newsletter company that offer how to make money, with this newsletter, right? So I got into that, and I sold one newsletter for the entire year. Terrible. When I tell you it's terrible, oh, my bad. Man, my phone tried to fall over off the tripod. Hold on, guys. Can't have that. What is going on? Hold on, guys. I'm gonna keep it authentic, though. I'm not going to. What is going on? Why is it acting crazy like this here? So this thing better not fall. I tell you, I paid too much money for this. Okay. Okay. So I ordered the Making Money package, right? So it did terrible. Like I made $7 throughout the whole year, right? But I kept putting money into it, right? So I kept watching the infomercial. And I'm like, man, there's got to be a way that I can make this thing go. The package was like $39.95 plus $15 shipping and handling. I'll never forget it. I sent it off. I got all excited and everything, and it just didn't go the way that I needed it to go. And so this was my first little home-based business, right? I set the business up. It was just terrible, okay? So I learned from that, because I'm like, okay, what did Don do to make me order this package, right? Like what drew me in? And I figured if I found out what Don knew, then I can apply that within myself, and I can kind of repeat the cycle, so to speak. Okay. So it took a minute for me to actually get contact through Don. It was just like a cat and mouse thing. I finagled my way. I was able to speak to Don, and he became a mentor of mine. You know, he flew me out to Phoenix. I sat like behind the scenes of an infomercial that he was shooting, which he was always recording stuff, you know, in Phoenix. And we just kind of talked a lot, you know, about business, motivation. He was a good motivator. That different things like that. And like I say, it was just a beautiful thing. Now, to fast forward to like 1999, I think it was, or 2000, whatever the case was, he had this program out called The Greatest Vitamins in the World. Now, this is when I learned from the first business, right? Some years later, 2000, I ordered The Greatest Vitamins in the World. Now, I would never order his upsell program, like the 900 business. Like he had his original thing was to sell you the Make Money package. You could find the wholesalers and start your own thing. And then the upsell was to join his 900 line business. Well, it was pretty pricey and I didn't have the money for that, so I never joined it. So I was like, well, I'm gonna just have to make it work with the Make Money package. And then he had The Greatest Vitamins in the World, right? This is where you order the package, the little course that he have, and he put together a system where you got 30 people. He paid you, I forgot what it was, but if you got I think it was $1,000. I think every 30 people you get, you pay you $1,000. Well, I did the arithmetic in my head, and I'm like, wait, this is not adding up. I talked to his reps and people like that. I'm like, okay, how? If the vitamins is $29.95 and you get 30 people, how is he? So I didn't do the vitamin program, but I'm gonna tell you what I did do, guys. What I did do from the program number 1, it had a manual with all the wholesalers, right? For anything you wanted to sell, videos, candy, whatever you wanted to sell, and he had this wholesaler manual. Okay, so it was a vitamin company in the wholesaler manual, right? A vitamin company in the wholesaler manual. So I reverted back to that manual. I found a supplier in there, and I started my own vitamin company, and I called it Vitamin Pro International. Okay, so, and that took off. It exploded. So what I did was I took what Don Course was saying, right? And I adopted my own philosophy where Don was paying you $1,000 for you know, every 30 people that buy the vitamin, you pay you $1,000, which he had some testimonies. People say that he actually paid out. It's just I said, well, I can do the same thing that Don's doing. You know, I say all he did was this vitamin probably exists already. He got a private label. Right, he slapped his label on it. The vitamins is already there. He marked it up. He put his little program together, and boom, he just started marketing the program. So what I did is I did essentially the same thing. I just didn't have a private label. I registered my business, Vitamin Pro International, all of that, and I started working it from home. Now, what I learned from the first business, from the Making Money package, is that I would order stuff. I would take my paychecks where I was working and stuff, and I would order this stuff and have it shipped to the house. And now I got all of this product and no one is buying it. So I damn near gave it away for free just to get rid of it. Well, it was different when I did the vitamin company, you know, some years later. That was my introductory to dropshipping. So I set up everything and was able to accept credit cards and everything like that. Now, it was to the point, guys, I had a phone. That's when home phones was popular, right? And I had reached out to my local phone carrier. I said, hey, I need to have an 800 number. I needed to ring in, you know, here at the house and that type of thing. So I set it up, and I was able to take orders. I got with a credit card processor, which is different than the processor we use today. Got with a credit card processor. I say, hey, you know, I got a vitamin company. I need to be able to accept credit cards. Now, I didn't have a computer at the time, right? So, and this was crazy. This was so crazy. I didn't have a computer at the time, wasn't able to afford one, still working, paycheck to pay. It was just terrible. My girlfriend and all of this. It was just terrible. We was both working, but I was like, for some reason, I think I can make this vitamin company go. Like, I feel like I can do this. So what I did was I teamed up with the supplier. I set up a little account with the supplier. I say, hey, what's going to happen is I got this vitamin company. I said, I'm going to market the vitamin. I'm going to push the vitamin, right? And I'm going to advertise it. And when the clients come in, this is what I'm telling the company. I said, when the clients come in, what I want you guys to do is just drop ship under my name, my company name, to the end user, to the client, to the person that purchased the vitamin. But the order came through me. So once I was able to accept credit cards, like the business took off. Because at first I wasn't able. I was only able to accept money order. Like I would have them send the money order in. It would take too long, this and this and that. And then people just started asking me, are you able to accept credit cards? So that's what prompted me to be able to accept credit cards. Now, at the time, I used a company called Echo, right? Which is through Don Lapre. That's the company that he was using. I set up with Echo, started using that, and I was able to accept credit cards. Okay? So now I'm able to accept credit cards. I just don't have a computer. So I'm like, I don't have a terminal. I can accept credit cards, but I don't have a key-in terminal, like a swipe. So what I did is I set up with the online portal. I paid for the online portal because it cost a little bit more if they sent you the actual terminal, right? The actual credit card terminal. So it costs more. So it was cheaper to get the online portal, right, where I can process it online, okay? Which is what I prefer to do today. I use the same techniques for my commercial cleaning clients when we do the reoccurring charges. It just, everything is happening online. You kind of log into the portal like you would do an email. You put in your username, your password, and then you key it in. So my people, it's keyed in every single month. You keep a database of the credit card, and we just keyed it in. So I used that same philosophy back when I had Vitamin Pro International. And then I just started making money, right? I just started putting flyers up in my city. I started learning how to do copy, word, how to do an irresistible offer, how to get them to call, and advertising and everything. By this time, I was a little bit more seasoned. I had started reading books and audio books and different things about marketing and sales and different things. Some of the old guys, I'm talking about Ted Nicholas and what's the guy, the Guerrilla Marketing and the No BS guy, Dan Kennedy, right? I started reading some of these throwback guys, and I started learning a lot. So it was working. It was working for me, right? So long story short, guys, that business started. That was like my first successful business, and it was scary because I'm like, man, I'm really making a lot of money. So my girlfriend at the time, Keisha, I was like, it was crazy because the phones would always ring and we would take turns. We would see, it was like a competition between us, right? So I had two phones in the house. I had one cord and one cordless, right? So the cordless was in the room, in my room, and the corded phone was like in the living room, right? So it was whoever got to the phone first. We had a competition of who can get the most sales and who who got the highest quota. And the way we used to do it, they used to call, and it was so old-fashioned, guys. It's just like a form. I created a form for the processing, and they'd call and I'd say, good morning, Vitamin Pro International. And they'd be like, hi, yes, I seen your thing on the internet and MySpace at the time. I set up a MySpace page. I think it's still up. I think it's called Making Money Fabio or something. If I find it, I'm a screenshot. I'm gonna put it on my tab on this vitamin company, right? So I started getting some orders so they call and I'm like, thank you for calling Vitamin Pro International, right? So they were like, yes, I seen your posts, or I seen whatever, I'm interested in the vitamin. And I think the vitamin was like $9.99, or I think it was $19.99 that we were selling it for. But the way I set it up, unlike Don had it where you had 30 people. I set it up where you had to sign like a contract for 6 months to a year, right? You sign it for 6 months to a year, and we would send you out a bottle every single month on auto ship, right? So again, that's when me learning and different things like that. So they were like, that's fine. You know, I say, okay, it's going to lock you in. Do you agree this call is being recorded? Which it was. The call was being recorded for, you know, training purposes and so forth and so forth. And they were like, yeah, that's fine. So I say, okay, great. I say, what's your first name? And they give me the first name and give me the last name, right? And the line was only for ordering. Like I would just let them know this is the ordering line, right? And if you had questions or concerns or different things like that, then you had to send it through email, right? To get your questions, and then me, or at the time my ex-girlfriend Keisha, will get back with you via email about whatever your customer service issues is. But the number, the 800 number that my telephone company set up was only for incoming orders, right? So when they call it, they would think it was like a call center. They feel like that's the vibe, right? I created a vibe, but they were calling it to the call center that only took the orders. They didn't handle the customer service issues. So I started making money, right? And me and my girlfriend, we would go to the library, because it was a library like 2 blocks over, and we would use the library computer, because once again, we had to key it in, right? We had to key the information in, and I didn't have a computer at the time. It didn't take long for us to get one once the money started coming in. But for the first, I say 90 days, for, you know, like 3 to 4 months, you know, that was the business. Okay. So we would walk up to the library, because it was a couple blocks over. She'd get a computer. I would get a computer, because they give you a free hour of computer time, right? And then after that, you got to pay for additional hours, right? So I said, babe, you're going to get a computer. I'm going to get a computer. And I had I'm talking about stacks of these forms, just like stacks of these forms where the orders came in, and we would key the order in. So she would log into it on one computer, I will log into it on another computer, and now we're processing orders. Because again, we got to do this before the library closed. And when I tell you guys, I woke up and we called the 800 number with Echo, and over the phone, Echo will tell you how much the revenue is, how much is in the account, and it tells you have $3,729.35. Like in my mind, it's like, what the hell? Like, we really doing it. So I started bumping up quick. This is the early stage when I really didn't have a good grab on business. And that's when I started spending like crazy. I learned from this coming up to the cleaning business, except when I started getting my first $5,000. I kind of started messing up, but I had to bounce back quick. So again, as quick as the money was coming in, as quick as the money was going out, guys. And I was like, OMG. Like, I hit a gold mine. But every good thing come to an end. The sales started dwindling down. The marketing, I changed up the program a little bit. I had a buy one, get one half off. I took it off of auto ship. Like, I just started changing things up, because I noticed the revenue stopped coming in. So I had to change up the marketing plan. I'm like, what's going on? I know this is a good vitamin. And so when the order come in, we process it, okay, and then we pay the supplier what we owe the supplier for shipping, and then they'll go ahead and ship it to they'll ship it to the party, right, to the client under my company name, which is something that you can do now. That's what they do now, what they call Amazon FDA or something, FB something, right? Amazon Dropshipping, Spotify. So when they say drop shipping, I'm like, whoa. Whenever somebody says drop, I'm like, whoa, I've been doing that. Like, I learned that from Lapre, like, early on. So instead of buying the vitamins, having them sitting in my house, just hoping upon or wishing upon a star that I get an order, what happened was I didn't order, and as the order came in, I processed it, and I had the email sent out to send it to this client, and then we paid for it once the order came in, instead of buying the supply up front, having it at the house, and then shipping it out as it came in. So that saved us a lot of upfront revenue in the beginning that we really didn't have. So I would just drop ship everything. Order would come in, I keep the advertisement going. lock them in for 6 months to a year, depending on whatever program we had them set up on. And then every single month, like clockwork, we would ship them out another bottle of vitamins, and then we would charge them the $29.95, whatever it was. And the $29.95 was adding up quick because we were steady getting new customers. But like I say, things started dying down. The vitamin people, some people was like, okay, I want to cancel my auto ship and this and this and that. So we let them cancel their auto ship or whatever. But we were steady marketing and steady. So again, guys, like I say, I've always been businessman. I've always tried. That was my first success business outside of the cleaning business. I did MLM and some other things in between that business and the cleaning business before I got started, but it wasn't successful. Though my cleaning business and the vitamin business have been my only two most successful business to date. The vitamin business, the first business was the Making Money package, right, with Don Lapre, when I sold the sales letter, the newsletter for like $7 for the entire year. That was a flop. And MLM was a flop, right? It wasn't working for me. But the vitamin business and the cleaning business has been my two more profitable business to date. So again, guys, they go to show you, if you're interested in like other things, and I give you guys this because there's a lot of people that watch my channel and they're not into the commercial cleaning, right? They're not into that. They're into other things, other endeavors. The dropshipping business is still a viable business, and you can do it the same way. You don't even necessarily need Shopify. You can have your own website, put your website, post your product, get a wholesaler like I did with the vitamins, and you can have it dropship right under your company name. You put it together, have credit cards integrated into your website, or have at least a setup where you're able to process credit cards, and set it up how you want to set it up. Okay, so this is just a short story time about Vitamin Pro International. I thought it would be a cool story to tell you guys, and hopefully it could be a helpful story. Just don't make the mistakes that I did back then, and even part of a little bit of my cleaning business. When the money come in, just remember the money is not yours. You got to put it back into the business. You got to put it back into advertising, which I believe is one of the reasons why the vitamin business started slowing down for me, because as the money was coming in, I wasn't putting back in nearly as much as I should have been putting back in. Yet I'm buying other things, bought myself a computer, start buying other stuff. And eventually, because I didn't know what to do with that type of money coming in on a weekly and monthly basis, it didn't last. So again, always have a plan for the revenue that come in, guys. Again, you never know. You might get a contract that's $10,000, and that's just one contract. You never know, right? So you always want to have a plan and a sense of direction, which way you will want to go once this revenue start coming in. But you want to start planning for it now. The only person that could ever stop you from starting up your own dreams and making it to the top is you. Take care.